All right, happy Friday night, everybody. Welcome to the daily broadcast coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios, where we finally had a little fall like temperature. I threw on the long sleeve shirt today, at least for one day we can wear it. All right, we got Texas Tech TCU predictions tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. If you know what's going to happen, you tell me. I'm actually going to give you two predictions tonight on this game for tomorrow afternoon in Fort Worth. We have all that. The most Texan thing you have done this week. What was that? And anything else that's on your mind? Oh, and the whole battle for the saddle deal. It's a made-up trophy. It's a bunch of crap, and I really it didn't mean anything to me. So you guys get in the early arrivals. You know what to do. Let us know. Thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street, you can communicate whether you're on Twitter X, whether you're on YouTube, whether you are on Facebook Live. Let us know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us thumbs ups, whatever, and then share it and invite your friends in. All right, hold on. We got it. There we go. Product placement, as they say. So that's the order of business tonight. And then we want to hear from you tonight. What was the most Texan thing you did all week? The coolest thing you did as a Texan? We need more Texanists out there. Texanist? Texan-S. You tell us. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com, the website. Started the day there. You were commenting online. You were checking out the Raiderland hot links. We have a lot of fun putting those together. I hope you guys like the hot links. We serve them up hot and fresh every day, the best in Raiderland and beyond. Brought to you tonight by South Lanes College. That's right, SPC over in Levelland. The road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. And a lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, I'm not college age. No, they have continuing education. They have cool stuff like culinary arts classes that you and your wife could sign up for. Check out SPC, see what they got going on. Plus, they got the Tom T. Hall music stuff and bluegrass, and that rocks. And we love them being a part of it. Also brought to you by Pete's Tire, where I'll be going either this weekend or Monday. I got a tire on my truck that's puking up right now. So Pete's Tire. Now, the cool thing about Pete's Tire in Ropesville, not only will they sell you tires, in the West Texas area, in the South Lanes area, put them on your phone, save them, because they'll come to you. You don't have to be a big farmer or rancher with a big tractor that they got to work on, that they do. You could just be a dude on a road, on 1585, pulled over with a blowout and going, I got nothing. They'll come to you. So you tell them when you call them that you heard about it here with Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. And I'm serious, this is not a Raiderland deal. They do this for everybody. But yeah, it's rare around the South Plains to find anybody like that with a tire service that'll do it. That's why we love them. They're amazing people over there at Pete's Tire Service, so in Ropesville, Texas. Craig says, the talking box is on. Indeed, the talking box is on. Yes, it is. We're glad the talking box is on because we want to talk to you guys. Want to find out what you're thinking tonight, whether it's Texas Tech, whether it's most Texan thing, whether it's Israel bombing the shit out of Iran, and whatever you want to do tonight. Maybe it's the World Series. Could be the World Series. The World Series from our youth, depending on how old you are. Another Yankees-Dodgers World Series. Heard my friend Chad Hasty on KFYO earlier bemoaning the fact that the Dodgers are trying to buy a World Series. Isn't that how that works? Right? Yeah. That like 3 out of the 4 final teams had 3 of the 5 highest paying payrolls, and you buy a World Series. That there's no salary cap. That's how baseball works. And then I heard my friend Chad Hasty say that he was rooting for the Yankees over the Dodgers because he thought the Dodgers were trying to buy the World Series. That's how I know Chad Hasty, who grew up in Grand Prairie, Texas, never really a Ranger fan. You just don't root for the Yankees. You just don't do it. Joe is on Facebook, which is a social media platform and not necessarily a psychotropic drug. President accounted for. Carry on. We're doing it. All right, so let's get some predictions rolling in for Tech and TCU tomorrow. Obviously, Big game for the Red Raiders. Looked like dog crap against Baylor at homecoming in Lubbock last week. TCU coming off a win, but they've been struggling this year. TCU got the offense, got Hoover at quarterback, the big bopper, J.P. Richardson, their top receiver. They got three good ones. They've been hyper offense, but defense was good last week. By the way, the Richardson kid is Bucky Richardson's son. So if you want to feel old right now, feel free. Texas Tech, I have no idea who's going to show up, which team will show up. We have seen this team so far this year, 5-2. That's a good year, by the way. That's a good year for Texas Tech and most anybody else. And we've seen the offense 1 week, the defense 1 week. The special teams have been good most of the year. They were horrible last week. So what do you believe? Do you believe that the TCU defense can hang in there in Fort Worth this weekend? Do you believe that Tech can correct a few things? What do you believe? I believe I have no freaking clue on what's going to happen in this game tomorrow. But I got to issue a proclamation of score. I've got to do something because it's what we do. You know, we're pretty much demanded of doing that. So I got to do something. So I'm going to give you two scores, and you can choose from one of the two. See, it's my show. I can do this. So the first score is Texas Tech doesn't get right from last week. TCU is improving there at home, and it's TCU 35-23. That Hoover gets hooked up with those three receivers. That offense is too much for the Tech defense that is still woefully inadequate on the edge. By the way, TCU doesn't give up sacks, and you don't get sacks. So ain't going to be pressure on Hoover. That ain't a good deal. 35-23 TCU. Or, hold on, got a gnat. We're still dealing with gnats. Son of a bitch, I almost got it. Or the Texas Tech offense shows up in a major way like they've been known to do. Baron Morton goes off. Taj Brooks cannot be stopped. They are in second and short. They're punching downfield with play action passes and hitting big yardage plays, which is what you must do if you run the football well. You have to turn running the football into explosive plays. 6 or 7 over 20 yards. Can you do that? If you do, 42-24 Tech. The TCU reverts to the SMU game. That Sonny Dykes is getting thrown out. Don't do that again, Sonny. I know why you did it. Don't do it again. So I have two scores for you tonight. TCU wins at 35-23. Tech wins at 42-24. Which one do you think is the correct score and why? And you tell us when you chime in. Thanks to United Supermarkets at Market Street. There's one grocery store in town that, in Lubbock that sends money down the street to Tech. There's one that sends it down the highway to Austin. So whether you are on YouTube right now, whether you are on Twitter X, whether you are on Facebook Live, and I want you guys to subscribe to all of our platforms. Never miss a thing. What do you think? TCU 35-23 or Tech 42-24? Which one is the closer one to the score? Let it going back again on the comments. We move back there. And there's Alan. He's on YouTube. TCU 31, Tech 20. I knew he was going to go with TCU. Says, I'm in. I'm sure Tech is right in the mind at the moment. Right in the mind at the moment. Right in the mind at the moment. I knew he was going to go TCU. Meanwhile, back on YouTube again, Ryan, you must have a bag of old onions in the casa. I got onions in the casa. I got young onions. I got old onions. We got all sorts of onions. Red onions are the best. If you're going to do anything with cooking, red onions are the ones you want. Unless we're talking about Billy Packer. Onions? Joseph on Facebook. In the words of Spike Dykes, Tech can't stand prosperity, but they will outlast TCU 45-41. That was a game. Do I have that in front of me here? Hold on, let me see if I got this on the flip side. What was the year that game was played? It was at TCU. It was in 90. No, it wasn't in 94. Was it 93, 95? What was the year that game was played? Geez, there was an amazing game at TCU. Maybe it was 92, 31-28 in front of 28,386 fans at TCU. Back and forth game. Unless it was, no. Yeah, Tech went easy in 90. I was at that one. Yeah, I think it was in 92. It was a back and forth game. Tech scored. Was that 92 Lloyd Hill? Yeah, Tech scores on the end of the game. They played some great games over the years, but that score prediction right there kind of reminded me of that right off the bat. Battle for the saddle, bunch of crap made up, not a real trophy. Real trophies don't go missing for decades and nobody knows about it. I can find no written receipts prior to the last couple of years of that trophy even existing. Allen Tech is not right in the mind, is what I meant. Say what you mean and mean what you say. All right. I know it's hard. Typing is hard with fat thumbs. I got the fat thumbs. It's not easy to do. So your score prediction tonight, the most Texan thing you have done this week. And does anybody else agree with me that the whole battle for the saddle thing is made up? It's at TCU. Could they be the rival Tech needs? We posed the question earlier this week. I don't know. But Cactus and the saddle ain't going to make it happen. And really, I hope it didn't happen because that means that you're battling TCU, which is a team that I don't think is going to be relevant at a high level in Big 12 football or basketball going forward. Baseball, yes. Other than that, no. I really don't buy into it too much. You know? Yes, here's Bob. Bob's on the Facebook there. Hey, Bob. What you doing, Bob? Bob's in. Bob says after the Baylor game, TCU beating Arizona, game concerns me. Did have chili tonight. What kind of chili? Let's talk about the chili. I want to know about the chili and where you are. If you're in Lubbock, it's a little too warm for chilly weather for me. I want chili in the 50s. Not 1950s, but chili in the 50s. What kind of chili are we talking about tonight? We're talking about chili with something else, maybe Frito pie in the bag, high school concession stand. If they don't serve it in the bag, don't buy it. It's probably not going to be good. If they're putting it in a little boat, the little paper boat, you're going to get screwed. All right. And let me say this straight up right now. If you live in the state of Texas and you put beans in your chili, you live in Texas and you put beans in your chili, fine. Good for you. Do what you want. I don't care. I don't have to eat it. I don't like beans in my chili. But the whole beans, no beans chili thing has just worn me thin over the years. I've had decent chili, not great, decent chili with beans in it. But you know what chili had in it in the 1800s, in the early 1900s? Beans. You know why? They were stretching it out. They didn't have a whole lot of meat. If you wanted to have something, if you wanted to eat something, you were eating Mexican strawberries and you were going to have beans in it. And if they happen to have a little meat to go in there, more power to you. So the whole idea of no beans in chili not being authentic Texan is actually predicated on just stupid people who don't know how it used to be. There were more beans in chili in the 1800s and the early 1900s than there was beef. Bob is east of Dallas. He's having it with cornbread. I still want to know more, Bob, on this chili. Did you make it yourself? What do we got in it? What are we doing with the chili? Talk to me about the chili. And if you want to give me a score prediction, that'd be pretty cool too. We're doing that tonight, Texas Tech and TCU. The Red Raiders, I give you two scores. You tell me which one you think is right. Texas Tech, you get the offense going. The defense is the good enough defense again. And special teams doesn't look like drunken sailors coming into port for Fleet Week, hanging out with just stupid coked up models in New York City, because that's what they looked like last week against Baylor. That Texas Tech shows up. TCU is who we thought they were. Not a good defense, decent offense. 42-24 Tech in front of at least 35 to 45% of the crowd being Tech fans. Or Tech got the mind virus. That the offense, even with Taj Brooks, nothing happens. They're playing battleship again. That's what I called the offensive game plan early on against Baylor. It looked like they were playing battleship, that they're just guessing. D4, C7, E13, that you're guessing, that you're not really sure of what the defense is doing. You're not dictating, you're guessing. If that's the case, TCU 35-23. Tell me which. All right. We hang out on a Friday night as long as the conversation is good quality and otherwise. We're glad you're with us tonight and hope you can hang with us as we go through the evening to 7 o'clock or so. Don't know how many people got really dialed into the World Series. I'm Dodgers. In the 70s, I was Dodgers. In the early 80s, I was Dodgers. Dodger fan. My mom was a Dodgers fan growing up as a kid in the 50s, and I really don't know how, but Brooklyn Dodgers. I mean, we're talking like Pee Wee Reese, Duke Snyder, So I come by the Dodgers things when they were playing in the late 70s. You had to choose one, so I was more Dodgers than I was Yankees. And then if you're a kind of a Rangers fan, you don't have to hate the Yankees, but you can't root for them, right? You never root for the Yankees, do you? I'm hoping this thing will be good for baseball. I don't hate baseball. I love baseball. Major League Baseball hates baseball. I love baseball. Major League Baseball, MLB hates it. Rob Manfred hates it. Hopefully this will be good, compelling, and otherwise. All right. So Bob goes 37-28 Tech. On a good day, flip the score if Tech doesn't show. Fair enough. Val is also on Facebook. He's going 24-21. It's pick 'em. I respect that. 100%. I respect a pick 'em score. I respect I don't know what's going to happen, because I don't know what's going to happen. Anybody who puts money on this game, you need an 800 number to call, okay? Anybody who bets this game in any form or fashion, you need a 1-800 number to call, because there is no legitimate reason to lay that kind of money, lay the points with TCU. And there's no legitimate reason I can tell you to take the points with Texas Tech, even though it's at a tasty hook. Is it still 6.5? I didn't even look today. That's how uninvested I am in investing in that game, that I haven't even looked to see if it had done anything. But even at 6.5, where a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, you got 6.5. You got to take TCU, man. You got 7. No. Bend a jet. Anyone but the Yankees. Like I said, I'm not like huge anti-hate the Yankees. Over the last few years, they've had some players I like. Even when they were going against the Rangers in the late 90s, they still had baseball players that I like. But you can't root for them, right? You can't do it. When I heard Chad Hasty, KFYO's own Chad Hasty, talking about, Dodgers trying to buy the World Series. And what the hell do you think the Rangers did last year, trying to bring in players? And, well, he's young. He doesn't understand. You buy the World Series for the most part. Doesn't guarantee it, but look at the payrolls. There you go. 24-21. That seems a little low. I would go upper 20s minimum. Talking about Val going 24-21 on a pick 'em. I'd go a little higher. I mean, neither team has great defense, even with what we saw last week from TCU. Neither team has great defense. So, I mean, come on, it's Sunny. He's going to play in Texas Tech. You know, it's going to be a tribute to Mike Leach. First one to 52, right? First one to 52. What have we? Story I saw today. So we can kind of move around right now. Give me your picks. Give me your Texas Tech picks. I've given you mine. I give you two victory. If Tech sucks, TCU wins 35-23. If Tech, the suckitude is not too bad, it's Tech 42-24. Which one do you believe and why? You tell us on that front. Get in. Thanks to United Supermarkets, Market Street, all the communications, whether you were on YouTube, whether you were on Twitter, and whether you're on Facebook Live. And we hope we got a lot of people that are now subscribing to the YouTube channel. I'll say again, whether you watch it on YouTube or not, just subscribe. And if anybody watching on YouTube, even on replay, hit the like button. I've been told by my people that helps drive up the algorithm. It grows it. It makes everything better. And that's what we want for our great sponsors like South Plains College, like Pete's Tire, like Arctic Air, because in a few weeks it'll be like dead-ass winter around here, and you're going to want to call the bear. Like United, like Boot City, one money saving mile outside the West Loop on 19th, the best in Western wear, including this really cool, it's not a Texas Tech pure shirt, but it's really good. One of the only, I had to quit wearing red for the most part while my son was in school because the rival for his high school was red and black. So out of respect to that, I had a whole lot of green, but now I figure I can start wearing some red, black again. It's going to be all right. Reckham off of YouTube is going Tech 37, TCU 35. I think that's a really good Tech score right there. That's, you know, in the range of where I think I gave you a 42-24 if Tech's really going out and everything's coming together. But I do think that's a legitimate, if you think Tech's going to win, it's probably in that time frame. I mean, Tech's still got to run the ball, and that takes time off the clock. That the old days, and I was kind of joking a second ago about first one to 52 or whatever, that just doesn't happen a whole lot anymore. You see far fewer possessions than you saw 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, far fewer plays per game. And if you're going to be good, you got to run the ball. And Taj has got to run. And you get your big plays off play action. You get your big plays off of running the ball. Explosives come off that. And that's what Tech hadn't done when they've struggled this year. That even when they've run the ball well in some of those games, they didn't do anything off it. I want to go back to the Baylor game. And I know it doesn't matter the fourth quarter points. I think I've still got this up. Let me see if I can go. I want to do some real quick advanced stats and see if I still got it. Yeah, I think I got it here. Do I have it deep passing? So deep passing is 15 yards or more. In the Baylor game, Baylor was 4 of 6. Running it with a guy who doesn't run. Tech was 4 of 10. But 2 of those were on the drive at the end of the first half. The rest of the time, you didn't do anything. I need 6 explosives if I'm going to run the ball that well. And by that, I mean 15, 20 yards downfield. I think the technical term now for explosive plays is 20 yards. Okay, I don't have to throw it 20 yards. I can throw it 15 and you get 5 on the yak. But you've got to parlay Taj Brooks. If he's going to run for $125 or $135, you've got to parlay that into something downfield. Otherwise, what's the point? Why is Mason Tharp there? You know? Why is Conyers there? What's the point? Otherwise, let's get in the wishbone, which I'm not opposed to. Let's just run it that way. which you can't do because the offensive line not nearly good enough. All right, your comments, your questions. We got a few more minutes left before we get out of here tonight. One story I saw today. It's not slugged or anything, but Lincoln Riley. Here you go, Lincoln Riley. According, I think it was Yahoo Sports, that as they sit there and suck at USC and they get their head handed to them in the Big Ten this year, and people are calling for his firing, that allegedly, apparently, and otherwise, he's got like a Jimbo Fisher buyout deal where they are on the hook for like $90 million if they try to fire Lincoln Riley, who once upon a time was from West Texas, who is an incredibly soft head coach when it comes to mentality or otherwise, and is becoming one more old air raid era head coach who's going the way of the Buffalo, which we're going to talk about that next week, by the way, on air raid coaches as head coaches dying out, and I'll tell you why. But he learned from Cliff, always fail up if you consider USC up from OU, and always have a great buyout. Beautiful, because they'll probably move on from Lincoln Riley. They're getting out physical. They're getting out tough. They were getting out tough by people like Utah the last 2 years at USC. And they'll find the money. But I do applaud him because, I don't know, most Texan thing you've done this week, get yourself a big-ass buyout and make a lot of money. And Cliff's done that. Now, the interesting thing with Cliff right now, living off buyout money from Arizona, I think Tech's finally done paying him money. Cliff's got the Washington Commanders as an offense, even with Jaden Daniels beat up from rib injuries because you run him too much, Cliff. Did you not learn from Bowman? Did you not learn? Don't get your quarterback killed. Anyhow, big question there with Cliff in Washington. Will that offense wilt in the second half of the NFL season the way it did and the way his team did at Arizona and the way his offense and his team did at Texas Tech? That there is a stark 10-year now, 11-year empirical evidence of Cliff Kingsbury offense. First half of the season, really good. Second half, no adjustments. Nothing changes. And everybody says, oh, that's what they do? Okay, we can beat that. To me, that's the really interesting story in Washington, who may or may not be the best team in the NFC. I don't know. We thought we knew something about the Vikings. They've lost 2 in a row. Hi there, Detroit. I don't know. What are we going to see? They're the best team in the NFC East right now, by far. It's going to be fun to watch. All right, let's see. 37. Okay, I think we got that one. Let's go back. Ben to Jet, the only argument for a lower score is Tech wanting to keep the ball away from TCU's offense, keeping it on the ground a bit more. And I agree with that. There's only so much you can do to try to shorten the game that way. You can run it all the time, but you still got to take your shots. You still got to do that. So, could it be an upper 20s game if you just absolutely ran it down their throat? They couldn't stop you. You don't have to throw it. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. I don't think that'll play out that way. I think it's still in the 30s. I think. There's only one way to find out, show up, see what happens tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will have the Raiderland Rewind ready to go. And looking forward to that. So tomorrow night, around what? 2:30? Around 6:30 or so. Be ready to get into that discussion. Anything else that's on your mind? I want you to do a couple of things for me tonight, though. Share this. Put it out there on your Facebook page, on your Twitter feed. Help us grow Raiderland. Whether you are on Facebook, and we got a lot of Facebook people out there, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Ryan Hines Raiderland. You don't have to watch it there. Just subscribe and, vote it up a little bit. All of my YouTube people, I love you. I appreciate you. If you hadn't subscribed on the Facebook side, kind of do the same thing. Don't have to watch it there. Friday Nights Raiderland on Facebook, the pro page. The battle for the saddle, by the way, just hate that. Hate the whole battle for the saddle. It's made up. It's crap. Hate the Chancellor Spurs. That was made up with John Montford in the late 90s with Texas. No, unless it got started in the early 1900s and it involved either a pig or a barrel of whiskey or Paul Bunyan's axe. I said axe. I don't want to be a part of some sort of fake ass traveling trophy made up. And the whole battle for the saddle thing is totally made up. Don't tell me it existed. There is no recollection of it anywhere up until a few years ago. Such a great trophy they couldn't find it for 3 decades. Don't elevate TCU to that level by having a freaking trophy with them. Don't do it. All right? Okay. All right. I think we've done all we can tonight. Looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to visiting with you guys tomorrow on Raiderland Rewind. And glad my son is in town, coming back from college. So we've only got like 18 more loads of laundry to do tonight. So that's a good deal, right? I don't know if he's at the Tech Rodeo tonight or not. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, share this when we post it at theraiderland.com, please. I ask you to do this. Share this on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever it is.